Ultraterrestrials, architects of the phenomenon, the hidden forces shaping our reality. There is something watching us, something that does not belong to the world we think we know. They have been here for centuries, hidden in the shadows of our history, whispering in the minds of those who dare to look too closely. Are UFOs really visitors from distant planets, or is the truth far, far stranger? For decades, the phenomenon of UFOs has been framed within a simple narrative: visitors from distant planets traveling across the cosmos to study humanity. But what if this explanation is not just incorrect, but a deliberate misdirection? What if these entities are not extraterrestrials at all, but something far stranger? Imagine reality as a delicate web, finely tuned to the specific frequencies of our perception. What we call the real world is simply the layer we are attuned to, a narrow bandwidth of a far more complex, multidimensional existence. Now, what happens when something, an unknown force, an intelligence beyond our comprehension, reaches into our reality and alters that frequency? What if, in the moments of a UFO encounter, we are not just witnessing something entering our world, but rather we are being pulled into theirs? Jacques Vallée's control system hypothesis suggests that UFO encounters are not random. They are structured, deliberate interactions designed to manipulate human perception and possibly our very place in space and time. The eerie silence, the feeling of missing time, and the distortion of physics reported by many witnesses all hint at something far more disturbing than simple extraterrestrial visitation. The Oz factor, as coined by Jenny Randles, describes the moment when reality itself seems to shift, where the witness suddenly finds themselves in an environment where the normal rules no longer apply. But what if this is not just a psychological effect? What if it is a literal displacement, a transition into another layer of existence? Imagine an advanced technology, not necessarily mechanical, but something that operates on a level beyond our understanding, capable of creating a self-contained pocket of altered reality, a bubble of energy, an electromagnetic distortion, a field of advanced frequency manipulation, something that temporarily severs the witness from the consensus reality and places them in a controlled, artificial space. Within this space, time dilates or contracts. The laws of physics bend. Gravity may cease to function in a familiar way. Even the witness's thoughts may not entirely be their own. This aligns eerily with Vallée's observations in Passport to Magonia, where he notes the striking similarities between modern UFO encounters and ancient myths of fairy abductions. In those stories, individuals were drawn into strange, glowing realms where time flowed differently. They would spend what felt like hours in these enchanted lands, only to return and find that years had passed in the real world. Or conversely, they believed they had been gone for days, only to discover that no time had elapsed at all. If these tales are simply older iterations of the same phenomenon, then the question arises: have these intelligences always had the ability to control our perception of time and space? The physical nature of UFOs also challenges conventional explanations. These craft appear to defy gravity, accelerate at impossible speeds, and even change shape. Vallée theorized that what we are seeing may not be physical technology at all, but something that interacts with human consciousness itself. Some abductees report experiencing encounters in a state resembling lucid dreaming, events that seem hyper-real but lack the consistency of the physical world. Could it be that UFOs are not machines, but manifestations of a higher dimensional intelligence, something that bends reality to its will? John Keel, in the Mothman Prophecies, explored the idea that these entities, what he called ultraterrestrials, are not limited by our physical constraints. Instead of traveling vast distances across space, they may exist alongside us in a separate but overlapping reality, capable of phasing into our world at will. But what if their influence is even more invasive? What if, rather than merely stepping into our space, they are able to pull us into theirs? Reports of abductions often describe the sensation of being transported through solid objects. Witnesses claim they floated through walls, ceilings, or even straight into the sky without resistance. This defies our understanding of matter, but if the individual is no longer fully within our space-time continuum, then the laws that govern physicality here may no longer apply. They may have entered a separate dimensional state, an artificial construct designed by the intelligence behind the phenomenon. If this is true, then the implications are staggering. This suggests that these beings do not merely observe, they manipulate the very fabric of our reality. Are they testing us? Are they altering something within us when we enter these zones of distortion? If they have the capability to remove an individual from our timeline, even momentarily, then what else are they capable of? Could they alter our memories, rewrite events, or even place us back into reality with subtle, perhaps imperceptible modifications? Some researchers speculate that these ultraterrestrials may be shaping our belief systems for their own purposes, steering humanity toward an unknown goal. Could they be guiding us toward enlightenment, or are we simply pawns in a game we do not understand? This also calls into question the nature of time itself. Vallée and Keel both speculated that UFOs and their occupants might not be bound by linear time as we understand it. The bubble of altered reality that surrounds a witness during an encounter might not just be a dimensional shift, it could be a displacement in time. What if these entities operate outside of the past, present, future framework, able to manipulate their presence across different points in history? Some abductees have described experiences where they were shown visions of the future, events that later came to pass with eerie accuracy. Others reported seeing glimpses of past civilizations, as if looking through a window into another era. If these accounts are taken seriously, they hint at a technology or consciousness so advanced that it can freely navigate the timeline, or perhaps exist in a state where all points in time are accessible at once. This raises a terrifying possibility. If these beings exist outside of time, are they influencing the course of human history in ways we cannot perceive? Vallée's Messengers of Deception warns that the phenomenon has a long history of presenting itself in ways tailored to the beliefs of the era. In ancient times, they were gods and spirits. In medieval times, they were fairies. Today, they are extraterrestrials. But if they are merely shifting their appearance to suit human expectations, then what is their true nature? And why do they feel the need to disguise themselves at all? Perhaps the most unsettling thought is that we are not just being visited, we are being studied, shaped, and influenced from a realm just beyond our comprehension. If reality itself can be altered in the presence of this intelligence, then what does that say about the true nature of existence? Some researchers speculate that these ultraterrestrials may be shaping our belief systems for their own purposes, steering humanity toward an unknown goal. Could they be guiding us toward enlightenment, or are we simply pawns in a game we do not understand? Are we living in a fixed, objective universe? Or is reality something more malleable, something that can be bent, rewritten, or even hijacked by forces we barely understand? These questions lead us to an even darker realization. If these entities can control the perception of reality itself, then how much of what we accept as real is actually constructed by them? Have they already embedded themselves so deeply into our collective consciousness that we no longer recognize their influence? And if they can manipulate time, space, and human thought, then is there any way to truly break free from their control? Perhaps the most unsettling realization is that we may never find a concrete answer. Vallée warns against the dangers of assuming we can fully grasp this phenomenon with our current understanding of science and reality. If these entities are truly multidimensional, capable of shifting between states of existence, then they may always remain one step ahead, forever outside our grasp. But one thing is clear, the UFO phenomenon is not just about spacecraft and aliens. It is about the very fabric of reality itself. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see something unexplainable, remember, it may not be from another world at all. It may be something far closer, something that has been here all along, waiting, watching, and perhaps influencing us in ways we have yet to understand. Thanks for watching Mysteria Luna. If you are interested in these topics, like, share, and subscribe.